You, come here for a second. Let me ask you something. What if you gave up today, not knowing the answer to everything you've been praying for was tomorrow? Man, let me ask you that again, because you didn't catch on to that. That went over your head. What if you gave up today, not knowing the answer to everything you've been praying for in this season was tomorrow? How would you feel? You would be sick, because I know I would be. So let's stay encouraged. Let's stay focused. Stop playing with your potential. You're too gifted. You're way too dope. Way too talented. I support you. I believe in you. So let's stop procrastinating. Let's push all distractions to the side for 6 months to a year. You know that amount of time could change somebody's whole life? So let's get up and get to it. Come on. We out.
All around the world, your church will sing your glory. No darkness in the air, can't take our testimony.
Nah, that was low-key kind of deep. Nah, that was a little deep. But we have to have those hard conversations sometimes, right? If we can't have those hard conversations, who will? Really ask yourself that question. Like, if you were to give up today, not knowing the answer to everything you've been praying for was tomorrow, how would you feel? Like, you would be sick. It was kind of deep, but we got to have these conversations. So listen, Drip Mafia. It's your boy CJ Got The Drip. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me, for subscribing, for liking these videos, for commenting. Make sure you turn on that post notification bell, because I've been consistent with this content. I turned 24 on July 19th, and I told myself I'm just going to lock in. I'm going to stop playing with my ministry, my calling, my purpose, my passion, and just focus up. 6 months to a year. You know, if you just focus up, push all distractions to the side for 6 months to a year, how unrecognizable you can be to somebody. Forget trying to prove anything to anybody, though. We're not doing that for that, right? I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm trying to prove myself wrong at the end of the day and give God glory and give him thanks for what he is doing in my life and what he will do. Thanking him for what he's going to do. Giving him praise in advance. But I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm trying to prove to myself that the same way I thought I couldn't do it, the same way I thought that what's in front of me, my goals, my consistency, my lack of just self-discipline, thinking those things were too far to reach, I want to prove to myself that those things are right here in the palm of my hands, and I could just grasp it like that, right? So that's all I'm trying to do, is just prove to myself and just give God glory that whatever I set my heart and my mind to, I can do it. We can do it. Let's stay focused. Let's, even for you, start that business. Pick up that camera and start that YouTube channel. Pick up that camera and start that podcast. Get into that content creation. Get into that clothing brand. Whatever it may be for you, let's get up and get to it. No more procrastination. No more playing with our gifts, our talents. We're too dope. We're too dope. God has called us. If God is for us, who can be against us? You're too dope. Stop playing with your talent. Stop playing with your potential, for real. Like, you have that whiteboard right here on your wall, right here on the top of your door, of all your goals and all the things you want to achieve, all the things you want to accomplish. And how long has it been since you even looked at it? Weeks, months, maybe even years, who knows? But today, let's really stop playing with our potential, right? So without further ado, I got a story time for you guys. So back to my original question. If you gave up today, not knowing the answer to everything you've been praying for was tomorrow, how would you feel? Ask yourself that question. Really think about it during this video. Even after this video too, really ask yourself that, like, how close are you to an answered prayer that you can taste it, that you can feel it, that you just want to give up because God is not answering your prayers when you want to. He's not coming through for you in your timing. Your timing, remember that, your timing, not his timing. If we knew what was best for ourselves, we would have it all together, but we don't. So that's why we need to focus and rely on God's timing, because he knows what's truly best for us. So, story time, right? The current company I work for, I've been here for almost 3 years now, and I started off as a customer service representative. I got this job actually when I was in college. I graduated 2 years ago. You know, time was flying by. But I got this job 2 years ago when I was in college. So I didn't have to go on that crazy job hunt that a lot of people go through after college, which I'm grateful. Like, I really thank God for that, because that was a head crack. Like, hearing some of my peers and my friends, what they had to go through and what they're still going through to get a job, like, I'm really blessed. So yeah, that's a blessing. So I was doing customer service, and it was just like, I was going through it. Like, two things, right? Customer service will always be busy. It will always be back to back, And number two, New Yorkers will always be angry. New Yorkers will never not be angry. So I was dealing with angry New Yorkers and just back-to-back calls all day, and it was just like, yo, what's going on? Like, why am I here? I went to school for media studies and TV production. Like, what am I doing here in a customer service position, right? And it was just 2 years. Like, those 2 years went by like 2 decades, bro. Like, 2 years for like 20 years, to be honest. I was going on all these interviews. I was, applying for all these jobs, applying out of my department, applying to other departments that I felt like I was qualified for. But nothing was given, like, nothing was coming through. And I was just, like, how much longer do I have to wait here? Because I wanted to quit. I told myself, I told my family, my peoples, my friends, I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to get up out of here. Because there's no way. Like, I'm doing customer service. Who am I, full of pride and just ego? Like, I'm too big to work in a customer service job, right? And I feel like my season was prolonged in customer service because I wasn't seeing the benefit. I wasn't seeing the reason for the season in that moment, right? I was just so focused on what's to come, the future, that I wasn't really gaining and grasping that everything God was trying to show me in that season. So I was just going on all these different interviews, networking, talking to everybody who I could see. If you had gray hair and you looked like you were in the company for a good amount of time, best believe I was introducing myself to you, putting my hand out, giving you a firm handshake and saying, hello, how are you? How long have you been here for? Who do you work for? What do you do? And how can you help me out some way, shape, or form? One thing about me, I'm not super technical. I've never been like a technical kind of guy. The intricacies of all the super like detailed information, that's never really been me. But put me in front of somebody and ask me to have a conversation, I'll do it 11 times out of 10. I'm a people person. I can talk to people, and that's always worked for me, right? So I was networking with everybody, just anybody who I could see, just introducing myself. Like, something's got to give, So nothing was given, nothing was coming through, and it was just rough. And I was like, God, like, I'm going on these interviews, I'm praying, I'm trusting you, I'm fasting even some days, taking that time out to really just focus and study. I'm trying to appreciate the season that I'm in, but nothing is coming through for me. I'm getting frustrated, I'm getting fed up, and like something's got to give, because if not, I'm out of here. I'm quitting with no type of backup plan, no plan B. I'm going to find something else. I'm going to make something else work, because this just isn't working. I was moving irrational. I'm not going to lie. I was moving super emotional, because I was ready to quit and drop it all with no type of backup plan, no type of plan B, which would have been a head crack. That would have been a dumb move, right? But that's truly how I felt in that moment. So a few interviews went by. They went super well. The people who were interviewing me, like, the way they would speak to me, they would leave me on like emotional highs. They would tell me pretty much that I got the job without telling me I got the job, telling me I was super qualified. They were pretty much giving me information that they would only tell somebody who really got that position. So I'm like, nah, I'm in. Like, it's lit. Like, in a week from now, I'm gonna hear, congratulations, you got this job, and I'm out of customer service. I'm gone, right? But that didn't happen. Weeks were going by. I didn't even get the second interview. When I got the second interview, I did really well on that. It was taking weeks for me to even hear back from that. So I went on like 2 or 3 different interviews for like 2 or 3 different positions, and none of them were coming through. So I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. At this point, I was just applying to whatever I could. I was qualified for a few of the positions, and none of them were just coming through. So I'm like, yo, I'm ready to give up. There was one position that I applied to. I forgot I even applied to it. I was pretty qualified for it, but I was just applying to whatever at this point, right? So I applied for it. Got an email. It was on a Wednesday, I remember. I got an email on a Wednesday that my interview was on a Friday. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy, because usually you have like a week or 2 to prepare for your interview. But I got this email about the interview on a Wednesday that it was on a Friday. So I really only had like a day and a half. Really only had a day and a half to prepare myself. But because I was in that interview mode, because I was going on a whole bunch of different interviews, I was practicing my questions, practicing, what I would say. I was, pulling up my accomplishments, just going over what I would say about myself. Also with the technical part of the interview, on these other interviews. So I was pretty much already in the interview mode, so I wasn't really stressing about the day and the day and a half of preparation. But I was just tired, to be honest. Like, I was tired of getting interviews and not the congratulations, you got the job. So I was being ungrateful. Most people would be super hyped, super ecstatic that they got an email about getting an interview, but I was upset. Like, imagine that. I was upset that I got an email about an interview, because I was getting so many emails about interviews that it was just like, yo, when is one of these gonna give? I was just in a bad mindset, man. I was in a terrible mindset. Like, I was ungrateful to get an interview. I really just wanted an email about congratulations, you got a job. And I was just like, I'm fed up. That's how I knew I was fed up. That's how I knew I was ready to give up before the answer to my prayer really happened, right? It was, so I got the email on that Wednesday. The Thursday, I was studying, and I'm like, yo, I'm done with this. I closed my notes, closed my laptop, and I'm like, nah, I can't do this anymore. I even shed a few tears because it was hurtful, bro. Like, I was just like, I feel like God had forsaken me. Like, I believe it was David in Psalms. I believe it was David in Psalms. He said, my God, why have you forsaken me? And I felt like that in that moment. I felt like, God, like, you have forsaken me. Like, I'm going on all these different interviews and I'm putting this work in, and I'm just fed up. It's been 2 years of just going through this, and I'm like, nah, I can't do this anymore. So I shed a few tears, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too manly to say, you know, I shed a few tears. Could put my pride to the side and say that. I shed a few tears on that Thursday night, and I'm like, nah, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm giving up, you know. Cause yeah, I was just fed up. And God told me, he said, what if you gave up today not knowing the answer to everything you've been praying for was tomorrow? I'm like, God, no, I don't want to hear that. He said, nah, listen to me. What if you gave up today not knowing the answer to everything you've been praying for in this season was tomorrow? And I'm fighting, and I'm like, I don't want to hear this right now. And I kind of just like gave in, put my pride to the side, just calmed down. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Let me open up my laptop and study my notes and just do this. Because any opportunity that God puts in your path, you gotta be grateful for it. You can't take that for granted. You have to express gratitude in every single season, every single moment, because the moment you don't express gratitude is a chance for you to complain about what you don't have instead of being grateful for what you do have. And I was just like, all right, let me focus up, let me study. Mind you, the other interviews I was going on, like, they went well. So I was just really waiting back for a response, but it was weeks that were going by that I didn't get a response. So I'm like it's gonna be the same situation. So I'm studying, got a good night's rest. I wake up, it's the Friday now. Got my suit and my tie, iron my clothes the night before. Stay ready, so you don't gotta get ready. I'm on the way to the interview, on the way to the location, and I'm like, yo, this is a joke. Like, I don't even want to be here right now. But let me fix my attitude and lock it, and let me do what I have to do on this interview. It was an in-person interview. The other interviews that I was going on were over Zoom. So this was like my first in-person interview. So I got there. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling confident. Got my awards out. Got my degrees, my certifications, all my achievements out. I had put together like a video project for the company, so I got that ready on my laptop. And I'm talking with my boss and like my employees, like my coworkers now, who were interviewing me at the time, right? Yo, we're just having great conversation, going back and forth. We're laughing, we're joking around. But when it's time to be serious, when it's time to answer the questions, yo, I'm killing it. Like, I'm going in every question, boom. Ask me this question, boom, I'm going in. I'm really just doing what I gotta do. So I'm answering these questions, you know, spot on, confident, eye contact, all that, everything you need to have on a good interview. I'm just locked in. And after the interview was done, I shook my current boss's hand. I said, you know, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you very soon. Big smile on my face. Walked out, and she said, you can look forward to hearing from us very soon. And I'm like, of course I smiled, shook my head and walked out. I'm like, but they're supposed to say that to anybody. Even if you didn't get the job, they're gonna tell you that just so you don't walk out of there feeling like you bombed the interview, right? So I'm on the way home, but I'm feeling good though. Get back home. I remember that Monday was a holiday, so I didn't hear anything back. That Tuesday, I got an email, mid-shift, saying congratulations, you got the job offer. When I seen that email, I shed a few more tears, I'm not gonna lie to you. Wednesday I got the email about the interview. Friday I had the interview. The next day I got the job offer. And I was like, wow, God, if I gave up today, not knowing the answer to my prayer was tomorrow, I would have been sick. And that was the truth. And if I had given up on that Thursday, not knowing the answer to my prayer was on that Friday to ace that interview, I would have been sick. For real, God really, when God speaks, just listen. Because he's not saying nothing for no reason. For real. I had an interview on a Thursday. I was going to give up that Thursday. God told me, if you gave up today, what if the answer to your prayer was tomorrow? Friday, had the interview. Next day, got the job. My boss told me, she said, I wanted to give you the job the same day you left that interview, but I couldn't because of HR and politics and certain stuff like that, right? So literally what God had said to me was the truth. And I'm like, wow. When I got that job offer, I was like, wow, like, thank you. Like, God is good. And let me focus up. Let me not question you no more. Let me not question your timing. When you say something to me, let me listen. Let me behave. Let me focus, because you know what's best for me. I don't know what's best for me. If I knew what was best for me, I would have had it all together. So what is that for you? Let me ask you that question one more time. If you gave up today, not knowing the answer to everything you've been praying for was tomorrow, how would you feel? How would you feel? You would be sick. I promise you, you would be sick. So think about that. Think about my testimony, my story. Think about how God is working in my life. Think about how God is working in your life. Think about how far God has brought you from, what he's brought you out of, and use that as motivation. God is good. He is faithful. He won't bring you to a place just to leave you stranded. That's not in his character. That's not in his nature. He's not going to bring you so far just to leave you to fend for yourself. Nah, that's not him. So focus up and lock in. God's got you, and if God is for you, who can be against you? I promise you. He has plans for you to prosper you, not to harm you, but to give you a hope in the future. So stay focused. Drip Mafia, listen, this has been your boy CJ Got The Drip. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on that post notification bell so you never miss any content like this. Comment down below some video ideas you may want to see me do, and subscribe, because we're on the road to 5K. And I would love to have you a part of the familia. Listen, all that being said, I'm out of here, man. Peace.